Hello class 9 students, welcome back to another session of social science, and today in this session we will be discussing about your chapter 14, which I've already written it here, okay, and the title is Institution of Parliamentary Democracy. So class 9 social science chapter 14, Institution of Parliamentary Democracy, okay. So if you are ready, let's go into it. Now, talking about this chapter, okay, in this chapter, we are going to discuss about the several options, okay, the several aspects that are there in democracy, and those are again called as institution, okay. So, in this chapter, when we say institution of parliamentary democracy, we are going to discuss about our political institution that is to do with the main topic, which is called as the parliament, okay. We all know we have a parliament in India, isn't it? So that is what we are going to discuss here in this chapter, okay. Now, before going into it, when we talk about political institution, okay, political institution, it starts with the state. And when we talk about the state, okay, the state, it has 4 elements, okay. It is already there in your chapter. It is written in the first topic, okay, political institution. So there, regarding the state, it has 4 elements, okay, or in other words, it is also called as the 4 pillars. So the 4 pillars of the states are, first we have in your textbook, it is written as population, okay. The first one is population. Now, when we talk about population, we are talking about the people, okay, the people who are living there in that state. So the first element of the state is called as the population, okay. Then the second element is, as it is written in your textbook, it says that the second element will be called as the territory, okay. Now, when we say territory, we are talking about the boundary, the exact boundary, because if you look at the states of India, okay, or even if you look at the same India map, we all know that the Indian map, we have our own boundary. We have a definite boundary. Then talking about the state also, we all know we have 29 states, and all these states, they have their exact boundary. So territory means we are talking about the boundary, okay. So first one is population. So there we are talking about the people living there. Then territory means the exact boundary, which a state which is having its own boundary. So that is the second element of the state, okay. Then the third element is, we call it as government, okay. The third element is government. Now, why government? Because when we talk about government, okay, the government is there to look after the people, okay. The state will be there, but if the government is not there, then everyone, the population, that is the people, they will be doing whatever they want, and the situation will be in chaos, okay. And so that is why government is also another important pillars of the state, okay. Then the fourth element is, we call it as sovereignty, okay, sovereignty. Now, when we say sovereignty, we are talking about independence, okay. Sovereignty means independent. So independent here, what we meant is, the state will be independent, okay. The state is independent. So the 4 elements of the state, as we have discussed, is, number 1 is population. So population means we are talking about the people, okay. Then territory means we are talking about the place, okay, the state. Then we have number 3, we have government, where the government is there to look after the people. And the fourth one is, we call it as sovereignty. That means where the state is independent, okay. So these are the 4 elements of a state, and through this, the government, they function, okay. Now, coming to the next topic, that is, why do we need a government? Because here we know that government is one of the important elements of the state, elements or pillars of the state. So now the question is, why do we need a government, okay? Why do we need a government? As I've said before, okay, if the government is not there, everyone will be doing whatever they wishes, and the society is going to be in chaos. And that is why we need a government. Okay, government is a must. And one of the main reasons why we need a government is to maintain. Okay, the first one is to maintain law and order. Okay, the government is there. We need the government to make sure that there is law and order in the society or in the state. Okay, so that is one of the main reason why we need a government. Then another reason will be with the government. Okay, if the government is there, the government gives security. Okay, the government, they provide security to the people. That is, security means they look after the people. Okay, the government, they look after the people. So that is also one reason why we need a government. Then another point will be in a government, okay, or if we have a government, the most important job of the government again is to make sure, okay, to make sure that there is economic well-being. That means everyone is looked after, whether they are rich or poor, young or old, men or women. Okay, it is the job of the government to make sure that everyone is looked after. So the reason why we need a government is, one is to make sure that there is law and order, because that is the job of the government. Then the government also, it provides security to the people. Okay, then the government also, they make sure that they look after the economic well-being of the people. So again, those are the reasons why we need a government. Okay, and government is a must. Okay, now when we talk about government, okay, we all know that the government, it has organs. I hope you remember that. Okay, because this you have already written it or studied it about it in your lower classes. So when we talk about government, okay, the government, it has three organs. Okay, the government, it has three organs. One is, we call it as legislature. Okay, legislature. Then the second one is, we call it as executive. Okay, executive. And the third one is, we call as judiciary. So these are the three organs of a government. Okay, so first one is legislative or legislature, second one is executive, and the third one is judiciary. Okay, so here number one means legislative or legislature. Now when we say legislature, we are talking about the parliament. Okay, the parliament is called as the legislature. And the job, okay, the job of the legislature is to legislate the law. That means to make law. Okay, so legislature means parliament, and then the work of the legislature is to make law, that is to legislate the law. Okay, then the second one is, we call it as executive. Executive means we are talking about the ministers, the bureaucrats, okay, the big shots. Okay, and their job is to execute the law. That means they have to make sure that everyone is obeying the rules and regulations that the legislature has given. So executive means the ministers, the bureaucrats, and the big shots, and their job is to execute the law. Okay, then the third one, we have judiciary. Judiciary means we are talking about the court. Okay, we all know about the court, right? We have the Supreme Court, the High Court, and so on. So those courts are called as the judiciary. So these are the three organs of the government. Okay, now if you go back to the history portion, okay, in the history portion we have discussed one topic, and that is in one of the French philosophers, okay, Montesquieu, he suggested that these three organs should be separated. That means it should be independent. Okay, all the three organs should be independent. And the reason why he suggested that was to make sure that everyone is able to get equality, or to make sure that there is no partiality. Okay, so that is the reason why in the present day, okay, nowadays, these three organs, they are independent. Okay, they are independent. So legislature means we are talking about the parliament. Executive means we are talking about the ministers, the bureaucrats, and so on. Okay, Then judiciary means we are talking about the court. So these are the three organs of the government. Okay, so I hope you are clear with that. Now let's go to the next topic, that is to do with parliament. Okay, the first one, legislature, that is the parliament. Okay, now when we talk about parliament, Parliament in India, we call it as parliament. Now, the name, it differs from countries to countries, okay? Here in India, we call it as parliament. For the Americans, they call it as the Congress, okay? Then if you go to Russia, in Russia, their parliament is called as Duma. So, the name, it differs from country to country. In India, we call it as the parliament, okay? So, now let's discuss a little bit about this parliament, okay? Now, what is a parliament? Or in other words, why do we need a parliament? Or what is the function of the parliament? Now, talking about the parliament, okay? Parliament is very, very important, okay? For India, parliament is very, very important because it is called as the legislative or the legislature, and they are the one, okay? They are the one who frames the law. The laws are framed or legislated by this parliament. So parliament is very, very important, okay? And whatever the parliament says, okay, whatever decision they have taken, we call it as the final authority, okay? The parliament is also referred as the final authority because if they have passed a law, that means that is final, okay? Everyone has to obey. So parliament is also called as the final authority, okay? Then regarding the parliament, they also look into the matters of finances, or we call it as financial, okay? So all these, right now, I'm just trying to give it to you in brief because later on we are going to discuss it in detail, okay? So here the parliament is the final authority. They are the one who makes the finances, okay? When we say finances, we are talking about how much money the country will be using or spending that year. Everything is under the control of the parliament. It says that without the approval of the parliament, the government cannot spend even a single paise, okay? That is what it says regarding the money, okay, financial. So that is also one reason. Then when we talk about parliament, okay? Now, parliament, we all know that the parliament, it has two houses. I hope you still remember that, okay? Parliament, it has two houses. So, here let's say this is the parliament, okay? So, parliament, then it has two houses. One is called as the Lok Sabha, okay? And the other one is called as Rajya Sabha, okay? Now, when we talk about Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, these are called as the two houses of parliament, okay? They are the two houses of parliament. Now, talking about these two, when we come to Lok Sabha, okay, Lok Sabha is called as the lower house and Rajya Sabha is called as the upper house, okay? Lok Sabha is called as the lower house and Rajya Sabha is called as the upper house. But we have another name for them, and that is, if you compare these two, okay, if you compare Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, you will find that Lok Sabha is again considered more powerful, okay? Lok Sabha is more powerful than Rajya Sabha. Even though Lok Sabha is called as the lower house, still then it is considered as more powerful than the Rajya Sabha. Now, you may be wondering why, isn't it? So, why Lok Sabha is considered more important than Rajya Sabha is because, okay, we all know that we live in India. So, India means we follow democracy. Democracy means government of the people, for the people, and by the people. In short, okay, it is the rule of the people. Everything, the government is doing everything according to the wishes of the people. So here, the reason why Lok Sabha is considered more important than Rajya Sabha is because the members, okay, the members of the Lok Sabha, they are directly elected by the people. Okay, the citizens of India, we are the one who elected the members of the Lok Sabha. So that is one main reason why Lok Sabha is considered more important than Rajya Sabha. Okay, because its members are directly elected by the people, whereas the members of the Rajya Sabha, they are nominated. That means they don't undergo elections, okay, but they are nominated by the various states in India. Then apart from being nominated again, 12 of its members are again nominated by the president. So here we have the two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Okay, Lok Sabha is called as the lower house, Rajya Sabha is called as the upper house. But then Lok Sabha is considered more powerful than Rajya Sabha, and the reason is because one reason is Lok Sabha members. Okay, the members of Lok Sabha are elected directly by the people. So that is one main reason why Lok Sabha is considered more important. Okay, then another reason, like in your textbook, they have mentioned it as relationship. Okay, relationship between the two houses. Okay, relationship. What is the relationship between them? So here what happened is, number one is, okay, Lok Sabha, its members are elected directly by the people, and that is why it is considered important. Then another reason why Lok Sabha is considered more powerful than Rajya Sabha will be talking about passing of law. Okay, the passing of law we will be discussing in the next session. Now when we talk about laws being made, okay, here it has to be passed by both the houses. Now when we come to money matters, okay, when we come to money regarding the budget, okay, budget means that is something to do with money. So the money, regarding money, only the Lok Sabha can pass a law, okay, regarding any type of money or any money. Only the Lok Sabha has the power to pass the law. The Rajya Sabha, they don't have any power in money matters, okay. So that is also one reason. Then another reason would be the Lok Sabha, okay. For example, if the Lok Sabha has passed an act, okay, they have passed a bill, okay, before it turns into a law, it is called as a bill, okay. So let's say the Lok Sabha, they have passed a bill, and after they have passed it, it will go to the Rajya Sabha. Now what happens here is, when the Lok Sabha pass a bill to the Rajya Sabha, they can never refuse it, okay. They don't have the power to refuse it. What they can do is, they can send it back to the Lok Sabha, requesting them to look into the matters again. But again, if the Lok Sabha passes it the second time, then by any means, the Rajya Sabha, they have to accept it, okay. So that is also one reason why Lok Sabha is considered more powerful than Rajya Sabha. That is, its members are elected directly by the people. Then regarding money matters, only the Lok Sabha can pass it. Then the third one is, if the Lok Sabha passes a bill, then the Rajya Sabha, they have to accept it, okay. Now here, there are two types of bill. It is there written clearly in your textbook, okay. We call it as money bill and ordinary bill. Money bill means all those that are to do with money, okay, everything that is to do with money. And talking about ordinary bill that is to do with nothing to do with money again. From there you can just make out the difference, okay. So we have two bills, money bill and ordinary bill. So money bill, that is to do with money. Ordinary bill, that is to do with changes, okay, the laws and changes that the parliament wants to enact. So those are the two bills, okay, which the two houses of the Lok Sabha performs. So talking about money bill, as I've said, only the Lok Sabha can perform. But regarding ordinary bill, okay, regarding ordinary bill, both the houses can pass it, okay. Even the Rajya Sabha can pass an ordinary bill. Plus the Lok Sabha can also pass it. But coming to money, only the Lok Sabha can pass it, okay. So that is the relationship between the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, okay. So I hope you have understood that far, okay. Now, in the next session, we will be discussing about the functions of Parliament. What does the Parliament do for the country? Okay. Right now in this session, we have discussed about the institution, that is the the four elements of the state, the four pillars of the state, that is population, territory, government, and sovereignty. Then we have also discussed about why do we need a government. We need a government in order to have laws and order. Then we need a government because the government, they provide security to us. Then it also makes sure that everybody gets economic well-being. Okay. Then we have also discussed about the three organs: legislative, executive, and judiciary. Legislative means they legislate the law. Executive means they execute the law. Judiciary means they punish the lawbreaker. That is, judiciary, we are talking about the court. Okay, so those are the three organs of the government. Then we have also discussed about started with the parliament. Okay, in India we call it as parliament, and in the Indian government, that is the Indian parliament, we have two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Okay, Lok Sabha is called as the lower house, Rajya Sabha is called as the upper house. But when we come to power, Lok Sabha is considered more powerful than the Rajya Sabha. And the reason is because its members are directly elected by the people. Okay. Then we have also discussed about the relationship between these two houses. Okay. And that is coming to the two bill, money bill and ordinary bill. Money bill, that is to do with money, and regarding this bill, only the Lok Sabha can pass it. Okay, the Rajya Sabha, they don't have any power to pass a money bill. But coming to this ordinary bill, okay, ordinary bill means to do with all those new laws, etc. Okay, so regarding ordinary bills, both the houses, they can pass it. So till there we have discussed in this session. I hope you have understood it. Okay, make sure, as always, make sure you go to your textbook. Okay, go to your textbook, underline those points which you have doubts on, and when the class resumes, you can clarify your doubts from your teacher. So thank you for tuning in and stay safe.